Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my channel. My name is Brent and online I go by Alchemist Apollo. Now today I have a special video for you guys because on my Instagram I decided to ask a question where I said you can submit your sun, moon, rising, and north node placements, and I would make a video reacting, giving my insight, giving my advice, and possibly roasting a couple of you guys. So in this video, I'm going to do my best to cover as many submissions as I possibly can, but truthfully, I got more submissions than I was expecting to, so there may have to be a part 2 to this video. And in fact, if you want to be in that part 2 to this video or parts after that, go ahead in the description and leave your sun, moon, rising, and north node placements, and you may very well be in one of the next series of this video. So there's actually going to be 3 ways that I'm going to approach each of these submissions. 1, I'm going to look at each of these submissions and say one thing or a couple things that I like and a few things I dislike about each of these placements. The second part is that I'm going to be telling you what I think you guys' superpowers are based on these 3 placements. And then thirdly, I'm going to give you guys the general advice. That's where the advice is going to come in. So 3 sections here: what I like and dislike, what your superpowers are, and thirdly and lastly, some advice, some insight, and probably some roasting throughout this whole thing. So let's get started with the first submission. Alright guys, so the very first submission that we have here is a Sag Sun, Aries Moon, Scorpio Rising, and a Scorpio North Node. So, alright, this person actually included, they said roast me as well. So let's go ahead and talk about those 3 parameters that I talked about. I said I wanted to talk about 1, what I like and dislike about this placement. First of all, fire it up, girl. This is what I'm talking about. Sag Sun, Aries Moon. This is a I see the prize. I want the prize. I know what I want. I go and get it. I'm fast. In fact, and that's probably part of the reason why you transform so much, is that fire is the fuel source for your development. That's something that I like and equally dislike about this placement, because when you've got so much fire, you're burning down a lot of bridges. At the same time, you got Sag, and that Sag energy says these are your beliefs and these are my beliefs, and I'm going to rise above those, and the Aries makes sure that it happens. Now the Scorpio rising and north node, let's talk about having a north node on your rising, guys. This is all about forming your identity by constantly facing destiny and fate and karma. Not easy, right? Not easy. Fate, destiny, karma, those are very difficult subjects to cross the border with. And to be honest, having your Scorpio rising says that you're all about living in the underworld, living in that realm that's just beneath the surface of everybody, where everything that we emotionally desire and connect with, all that darkness, all that hidden, shadowy stuff that we always talk about, that stuff's right beneath the surface, and that's where this fire and this fuel source comes from. So you gotta ask yourself, what are you burning away? What are you using as your fuel source? Is it the love of your friends, or is it, you know, some sort of foundational wood that you're burning? Are you just burning away all the things you love, or are you burning towards those things that you love? Remember, as your Sag Sun, you were always doing 2 things. You were moving towards something and you were moving away from something, and it seems like this is a big trait of these placements. Now let's talk about the second part, what your superpower is. You are somebody who is ridiculously good at not only standing up for yourself in arguments, but standing up for other people in arguments. Let's talk about the Sag energy here, Jupiter. We're talking about standing up with our beliefs, expanding consciousnesses for people. Aries Moon says, I know the way you're going to listen to me. This is the right way. Okay, so there's the hard-headedness of Aries, but that hard-headedness sometimes is what we need to make our point get across. Now, sometimes, once again, this kind of goes back into the like-dislike thing. If you're too hard-headed, sometimes that'll get back at you and that can actually hurt you. But at the same time, if you stand your ground, people are going to admire this trait about you overall. Not if you're standing your ground ignorantly, but if you're standing your ground on a truth. That's something different than standing your ground over some emotional sentiment. So your superpower here is you have an ability to persuade people. You have an ability to change people's minds. You have an ability to change the course and the rhetoric of the narratives going on. That is powerful. Same thing with the Scorpio Rising, Scorpio North Node. As you face your destiny, you are moving away from your comfort zones. That is a superpower. In this day and age, we live in our comfort zones. So that is your superpower, is getting out of your comfort zones and changing the stories, changing the narratives of yourself and the people around you. amazing 3 placements here. And finally, what I said was my advice to you. My advice to you is to, as you're burning down these bridges of the narratives, watch out for the bridges that you're burning down that are actually useful. Sometimes we get emotionally upset and we want to be hard-headed with that Aries moon. We want to be right with that Sagittarius. Sagittarius is about giving you the answers. Here's the damn answers right from the divine. Well, sometimes we can become problematic with our messages if we don't make sure that we get all the details right and we're being too impulsive with it. So my advice to you is slow down, enjoy yourself, and instead of transforming every single thing, not every single thing needs to die, focus on the things that you can intentionally kill in your life. And then you can work on using that transformative energy that you do have to make the right changes in your life. Instead of having things unconsciously die, make sure that you're setting out funerals for yourself. Write down a list of the things you want to get rid of and then let them go. And overall, that's going to help you steer your boat through the river Styx, through consciousness itself. So thank you for the submission. On to the next one. So we have our second submission here. This submission is from a Capricorn Sun, Cancer Moon, Gemini Rising, and a Leo North Node. So first of all, I love these placements. One thing that I really innately see whenever I see sister signs between the Sun and the Moon, Capricorn Sun, Cancer Moon, these are opposites to each other. These are polarities, which means this is generally a very full moon that we're talking about. And a full moon between Cancer and Capricorn, or Capricorn and Cancer, that is some very divine mother energy. We're talking the feminine side of our being here. We're talking the feminine side of reality here, which is motherhood, emotions, the unconditional loving aspect of the open heart chakra. We pour out this love, and maybe on the Capricorn side, we have a little bit of that hesitancy because love should sometimes be earned, right? There's this discipline side to it, but at the same time, there is this beauty behind the family structure that is valued here. Now, you've also got a Gemini rising, so let's talk about how you're stacked on the feminine side of energy, right? You're stacked on this beautiful, divine feminine, but the Gemini rising says, let's split it right down the middle, and let's actually show you what it's like to experience a little bit of the masculine polarity, right? This is where the side of Capricorn starts to come out, which is that responsibility side, that accountability side, the side about taking action, being accountable for your actions, planning a future, having long-term goals, having a vision. The other side of a Gemini says, let's start to be logical, let's start to be rational, let's use facts and data and research and good communication skills. And that's what I really love about this, is that while you have that weighted side to the feminine, you still equally have that introduction into the masculine through the Gemini rising. It makes things a little bit more comical, it makes things not so serious. Like, emotions sometimes can be really, really heavy, and they don't always have to be, because the Gemini rising is somewhat of the archetype of a bit of clownery. We like to clown a little bit with our Gemini rising here. It's sometimes those things that are a little bit questionable can become jokes, and that joke and the form of comedy can help us to deal with harsh feelings of anxiety or worry or depression. Jokes and comedy are a cure-all to many parts of this. And then, of course, you've got the Leo North Node. We love to see a Leo North Node. One of the things that always comes to my mind with Leo North Nodes is that they are really meant to work with powerful people. They are the people who are able to stand on the front of the stage and to be able to communicate powerful ideas. You know, the actress, the actor on stage, the Leo is somebody who is so radiant in their being that they're able to bring that stage presence around. People want to be around them. People want to date them. People want to look at them and give them attention and praise them, right? And that's part of destiny, fate, and karma. And guess what? It's really difficult for somebody with all those divine feminine placements, because that is more of a nurturing at home sort of vibe. That Cancer full moon, we know that this kind of energy likes to be in bed, likes to be relaxed. But in that sense, let's go ahead and get into my 3 categorical imperatives here. And the first is, what do I like and dislike about these placements? First, what I like about these placements is I love divine feminine energy, and it's really great whenever it can be strongly expressed in this way, because a full moon is going to bring it out. and there's no hiding this kind of energy. That's one thing I like about it, and it's equally what I can sort of dislike about this energy is that sometimes when you have deeply full moon energy like this, and it's a Cancer full moon, sometimes the emotions can be hard to understand, and that's where the Gemini rising has to come in and take a lot of weight, which is how do I communicate my feelings effectively, and that's something that's difficult here. So I can understand where this can be something that's challenging, but also Cancer full moons are really good at being emotionally intelligent. That's something that we can forget. Cancer placements, yes, they're crybabies, but they're emotionally intelligent because they experience emotions so much. So I guess what I could say is what I like the capacity for that feminine flow. What I might dislike is maybe sometimes this is hard to communicate. I, as a Cancer myself, this can be hard to communicate these emotions sometimes, and sometimes we just express them without even sometimes concern, especially as that Gemini rising, it's what comes to mind comes out. Now, here's what your superpowers are. Your superpowers are being able to be highly empathetic, highly empathing to the point where you can sometimes communicate emotions for people. Remember that Leo North Node, well, the opposite of it is the Aquarius South Node. And what that means is that the people in your group, the people in your family, those people you're close to, you can read them like a book. And this, the Gemini rising puts this Capricorn sun in your 8th house, which means that you have the ability to read people super easily. And because of that, you can actually start to communicate their emotions for them. Now, that's also part of the like-dislike part is sometimes people need to figure things out for themselves. And if you're communicating that for them, maybe you're stepping into a place where they need to figure it out for themselves. Now, if people are looking for help and looking for your expertise, your psychic abilities, you're going to kill the game. You're going to be able to just read right through people. That's a superpower, is reading people. And don't ever let anybody tell you that that's not the superpower, because that is absolutely a great superpower. Thirdly, what is my advice for you? My advice for you is to find a way to value your emotions in a way that you don't look at them like a burden. When you have a Cancer full moon, you're starting to wane that full moon, and you're starting to release that full moon. Let's imagine that you have a giant bucket full of emotional energy. Your job is to carry that bucket, right? Your job is to have that, it's going to be full of other people's emotions. It's going to be full of your own emotions, full of animals' emotions, full of the emotions of the sky, full of the emotions of everything. And that bucket gets heavy. Water is heavy. If you try to carry a giant bucket of water, water is heavy. And emotions are heavy. As a Capricorn, you're going to want to carry it all yourself. That's the accountability part. It's the discipline part. It is not easy. It is heavy. You need to find a way to accurately pour that water out in a way that is useful for other people, that is useful. This is the Leo North Node. You need to be able to pour that water out in a way that you are helping other people, that you are being a conduit for emotional release. Emotional release, that is an important key trait. If you're carrying the emotion of everybody around you, it's pretty heavy. And my advice is to think of emotions like a stream of consciousness. They come and go. You're floating in this lazy river. It's just a lazy river of consciousness. You're just floating down this stream. And when you look at life that way, then you can handle more or less what comes towards you. But if you're the kind of person to bottle things up, well, guess who's got to carry those bottles? They are heavy. And you can think, okay, well, if you have all these bottled up emotions, pour them back into the stream of consciousness, release them, allow them to fade away, allow them to ease your mind. You don't have to be everybody's superhero. You don't have to be everybody's mother. You don't have to be everybody's savior. So that's my advice to you. Thanks for the submission. I hope this helps. Thank you for sending in your placements. On to the next one. All right, guys, I've got our third submission here, and this is by a Leo Sun, Scorpio Moon, Sagittarius Rising, and North Node. So this is actually the second submission in this video where the North Node is on the rising sign of the chart. Now, once again, I want to reiterate here that rising sign and the North Node, those are both very crucial things to develop in this lifetime. And guess what? Your identity is way complex, right? When you talk about Sagittarius, or in the other case, I believe Scorpio, these are signs that are not easy. They're not like simple signs. They are very complex signs. Imagine all of the complexes of psychology, all of the complexes of identity. Who are we beyond our parents? Who are we beyond society? Who are we beyond the ideas of the conditioning that we've been put under? What is our identity? Is it who we are in a job? Is it who we are relating to? Is it how much money we have in a bank account? That's some of the problems that we deal with when we have the rising sign in the North Node in the same sign. These are things that are hard to deal with. Fate, destiny, karma, those are hard words to deal with. They're not easy words to deal with. Now, the difference between the Scorpio rising North Node and the Sagittarius rising North Node in this case, Sagittarius rising North Node is a little bit more fun but hard to reel in. Imagine your consciousness being so cosmic, so expanded, always expanding, exploding, and having new identities like, oh my God, I just realized who I am today. And then tomorrow you're like, whoa, I'm realizing who I am even more. And it's like, how do you set into a box, this is who I am? And in fact, I don't believe it's actually possible. I don't believe that's something that can be done. But let me be careful with what I say here, because Leo Sun, Scorpio Moon, these are very fun polarities to play with, not an easy signs. So we have the Sun in Leo in its home sign. Happy to be here, loves to be here. Like, I want to scream because I just want to be like, woo, this is such a great placement. And the truth is, it is. And the second part is that the Scorpio Moon, it's in its fall placements. It doesn't necessarily want to be where it's at in the moon. But what I love about it is that, well, I guess I'll go ahead and get into the big three here, or my three imperatives here. The first thing is what I like about it. I love that the Scorpio Moon and the Leo Sun have this opposite. They're not opposite, they're square, but this opposite mentality. The Scorpio Moon is like, we need to get deep and dark and mysterious and hide away, and we need to rethink who we are. We need to work with Hecate of the moon and be very crazy and mystical, and whoever disagrees with me shall suffer, right? And the Leo Sun's like, oh, I can't wait to be here for you. Let's have fun. I just want people to be around me who love me. And it's like there's this opposite effect of like light, dark. And when you have that mix into your personality, you get such a nice mix of reality. You get a what is real and what is actually a bunch of nonsense that we need to transform away from them. What a great ability. This is somebody that I've actually given advice to. You need to set funerals for yourself where you say, there's some Leo traits I got to get rid of. Sometimes what we really need to learn about growing up is we can't get stuck in Peter Pan syndrome as Leo placements. We got to be able to say, time to grow up, time to move on, time to let this go, time to be an adult here. And that's kind of leaning towards your Scorpio Moon. And then you got to realize, okay, well, I didn't just kill things just for the sake of killing things. The inner child's important, right? So it's about navigating that properly. And so one of the things I really love is that you're able to maintain that inner child's imagination and creativity while getting rid of the parts that are being stuck on attachment and needing to be nurtured and taken care of, but being in a childlike adult in a way that's responsible, in a way that is still using the magic of childhood well into your adult years. And this is especially true with your gypsy-like Sag rising North Node combination. This is a gypsy-like placement. You got to go with what you're really in tune with, your curiosity. You have to really be in tune with, where does the universe want to take me? What kind of journey, what am I creating for? Am I just creating, or am I creating for something? Am I creating with intention? Am I creating for some audience? Who will listen to my message? Who will be a part of this expansion alongside of me? Who will grow with me? And there's this fun side of Leo, while the Scorpio side says, here's what's actually important. Here's what needs to be addressed. Here's what needs to be changed. And that's such a great thing. So that's what I like about it. What I dislike about it, I suppose I could easily say, is that because you have a square between your sun and your moon, I forget exactly how tight it is, but I do know that this person's moon is conjunct their Pluto. So what I would say I dislike about it is that there's stubbornness between these fixed signs, and so maybe sometimes you're killing off the good traits and replacing them with bad traits. So you got to be very mindful about that. And if you're just sitting there and you're allowing the dislikes, well, if you're allowing the things that you dislike to just be removed because you don't like them, but they're actually good for you, then maybe sometimes you're regressing into negative patterns where you need to actually say, well, okay, I need to address what's objectively truthful here. And that's where the Sag Rising and North Node come into play, which says, yeah, here's how I feel, but here's the reality of it. So here's how I feel, here's the reality of it. You got to expand a little bit and get beyond that. So the dislikes would be, sometimes you just change because you're just emotionally feeling it. You're just like, I hate who I am, even though who you are is a beautiful, growing, glowing goddess, right? But sometimes we hate ourselves, and we have to like remind ourselves by zooming out a little bit and getting back into that Leo self instead of getting too sucked into that Scorpio self. Now, that's part of what your superpowers are. So number 2, what are your superpowers? Your superpowers are the ability to be real AF. Real AF. The sun is illuminating. You illuminate things. What do you illuminate? Well, you're in the darkness. Good Lord, you have such a beautiful mix of duality with your placements. The sun in the darkness. The sun as a flashlight. You are a human flashlight for people. You have the ability to illumine whatever it is that needs to be illumined, repressed. Anything that is hiding in the shadows. There it is. I found it. It's right there, hiding from you. And because of that, that makes you a superhero in identifying wounds, identifying traumas and complexes, and showing people it's bigger than what you think it is. That's one of the things I said about the Scorpio and Sag risings, is that these are complex signs. It's bigger than what you thought it was, and that's a superpower. Thirdly, my advice to you is to let that child be alive in you, but in a way where you are the parents of your child. You are the divine parents of yourself, of your own inner child. Don't kill the inner child. Let that inner child thrive, but take the right precautions to play mom and dad. The universe is mom and dad. Uranus and Neptune are mom and dad. You can think about mom and dad in everything. Mother, material mother, right? Mother matter. Father sky. There are deities out here. This is mom and pop, right? We don't need to get stuck in our parental traumas. Sag Rising says, let's go forward. Let's rise above the conditioning that was preemptively set for me by the unconscious imperatives of my parents or the people around me or any of those things. Rise above it and see your quest for what it is by aligning with the powers that be. So let's go ahead and get into the next submission. Thank you so much for submitting. I hope that you found this interesting. I hope this helps. All right, guys. Well, I think we only have time for 1 or 2 more, probably just 1 more. I'm going to make a second part 2 to this as soon as possible. So if I didn't get to your submission, I got a lot of them. So if I didn't get to your submission, then I apologize. You'll be in part 2 or part 3. And once again, if you guys do want to be a part of this video, of the next part of this series, like this video and leave a comment letting me know what your sun, moon, rising, and north node are, and you just may very well be in one of the upcoming videos. So this next one that I have here, I have a Taurus sun, Scorpio moon, so I got another Scorpio moon, Capricorn rising, and a Virgo north node. All right, I'm sensing some powerful placements here. First of all, 3 earth placements, all 3 of them, right? Taurus sun, Capricorn rising, Virgo north node. So just to think about how this would be laid out, we got an earth rising. That means that we have somebody who is really rooted into this material plane, someone who's really rooted into this matrix, someone who really understands what it means to value different resources, especially as somebody who's a Capricorn rising. This person, let me just give you guys an insight about what it means to be a Capricorn rising, Capricorn, Mars, Venus, Moon, anything. You are here to be lonely in this lifetime, and I don't mean lonely like people aren't in your life, but you are here to be you. You are here to do your journey. Other people are going to have their input, and you have to sit there and say, I hear you, but this is my journey. This is me climbing up the mountain. This is me setting goals for myself. This is me looking into the future for myself, on me, being accountable for me, setting up for my future, setting up for my retirement, setting up for my future, setting up for who I will be then. And sometimes we get stuck in this idea of time. who are we now is different than who we will be in the future. And this is especially true as somebody with a Taurus sun and a Scorpio moon. We've got another full moon combination here. Taurus, Scorpio, full moon energy. So we have to imagine Taurus as the sun. This sun sign likes to take its time, okay? This sun sign likes to say, I value this thing, so I'll go get it, but first I have to value this thing, so I have to set my system of priorities up in order, so I'm gonna do it on my terms. Now the Scorpio moon says, well, I'm gonna do it only if it truly feels right to me, right? So we have this almost filtering system in your natal chart here. This system is filtering to say this is correct, this is not correct, this is something that I truly value, this is something I don't value. And there can be this fight in yourself. When we talk about Taurus and Scorpio, we're talking about simplicity, complexity. Taurus says, I like this thing, I'll go and get it. Scorpio says, why the hell not? But Scorpio says, I'm actually attached to things, and those attachments are making my life complex. Imagine being attached to being happy, or attached to being a millionaire, or attached to being anything, right? Attached to this human body. When we have attachment, just attachment, we will lose that. We lose everything we're attached to. We're attached to these human bodies. That's another thing that's important here. Taurus sun, body. Scorpio moon, the emotional body. We get attached to emotions. We get attached to ideas of who we need to be, ideas of value, ideas of money, ideas of resources, ideas of priorities, ideas of who we need to be with. Do we need to be with this like 6-figure man who's 6'6" tall, who's like, there's these priorities that we put up, and we have these attachments that if somebody doesn't fit these exact priorities, or if I don't match up to my goals, then I just won't be happy. Well, guess what? Those attachments are really what's going to get to you. And so I guess I'll go ahead and start my top 3 here. Number 1, what I like about these placements, this is somebody who knows what the hell they want. This is somebody who has the ability to say, I want it, I will get it. That's the fixed nature of Taurus, Scorpio, and the go-getter mentality of Capricorn. This is somebody who, when they want something, they will get it. Now, that's the other thing. We have a Virgo North Node. That's even more true. The Virgo North Node says, in your fate, in your destiny, in your karma, you will be pointing towards one thing, towards one attachment. That's Virgo. Virgo says, I want to be real competent in this one thing. Lots of Virgos are doctors. Lots of Virgos are like, maybe not lawyers, but lots of Virgos are people who are able to focus in and get it done. That's the competency factor of Virgo. They really want to be competent. Now, opposite to that, Pisces. Pisces South Node. You're somebody who likes to lollygag, right? And all of your placements say, go get it, girl. You can do it. You can do it. You can have anything you want. And maybe that South Node in Pisces said, well, I'm just going to wish for it, right? And sometimes we get stuck in wishful thinking, and that wishful thinking can get us in a lot of trouble sometimes. So you got to make sure that you're actually going and getting it. And in your life, you're going to be tested. Do I value this? And you're going to be really, in your life, you're going to be drawn towards things like the law of attraction. Yes, your vibration matters. Yes, the Scorpio moon is screaming at you. Yes, it matters. The Taurus sun says, you got to lay down some practical groundwork here, like lay out the foundation, get it going. So the thing I like about this placement, or these placements, this person is really powerful in their mind. Their imagination can absolutely shape their reality. The thing I would say I dislike about this is just how much fixed energy there is in terms of when you want to get something, maybe you might start bulldozing people in your way to go get it. The Scorpio moon says, yes, I want to go get it. And at the same time, if you get in my way, you're now on my enemy list, and I'm going to burn this bridge. And that's what I said when I first started this video here was, or this submission here was, you're going to be a pretty lonely person in this lifetime, because Capricorn is somebody who kind of really is here to be alone. You're here to climb the mountain alone. CEOs are not friends with all of their employees. Yes, they have relations with their employees, but they're not friends with their employees, right? That their employees are employees and friends second, right? That's that Capricorn mentality. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be a lot more about setting up a structure so that everybody thrives, but I don't see that so much with all this earthy energy. You got earth signs in your first house, your fifth house, and your ninth house. That means your quest, the way you relate to people, and the way that you set out your creative projects, and the way that you're here to identify yourself, those are all rooted in materialistic senses. And those materialistic senses are about gaining more resources. And resources aren't always just money. They're not always just items. You're the kind of person who loves luxurious stuff, but it's not that you're really here to be attached to those things. You got to learn how to let those attachments go, and as you let those attachments go, that's when the law of attraction and those kind of energies really start working for you, when they work through you and not just only for you. So that's what I like and dislike. The dislike would just definitely be the highly fixed energy. Attachment city, man. You got to let go of your attachments to get to your dreams. And I don't mean like let go of your dreams, but let go of your attachments of getting your dreams. The second part, what's your superpower? You have the ability to tell it as it is, in the sense that when somebody comes to you and they want advice, you're not attached to the outcome. You're going to tell somebody, look, listen here, this is where you're going wrong. This is what you're doing wrong. And in fact, here's why you're doing it wrong. Taurus doesn't have time to waste in terms of patience. They're a patient sign, but they don't have time to waste in terms of the relationship quality. Scorpio Moon. The moon falls here in this full moon position. That full moon says, don't waste my time again. It says, if you come at me and you come at me wrong, you better check yourself. And so I like that about that. It's a superpower. And so you have the ability, when someone comes to you for some advice, or someone comes to you and they just need some kind of reflection, some kind of imagination that they don't have, you have it. You have the ability to give them the vision. And as well as to help them structure their lives and to structure your own life. People are going to be very attracted to you for that reason. And then what my advice is to you? My advice to you is to focus your intentions towards one specific direction, one mountain. You're climbing one mountain, not every mountain, one mountain. And when you start climbing that mountain, that's whenever you can really start thriving versus trying to climb every mountain, trying to help everyone, trying to do everything. Tap into that Capricorn rising and let yourself be guided by what the hell you want, where you're going in the long term. So that'll be it for this submission. Thank you for submitting. And I'd like to just say, this is going to be the end of part 1 to this video of this series. So thank you to everyone who has submitted. If you want to see more videos like this, please leave a like and leave a comment on what you agree, maybe disagree with what I said about some of these placements. If you have anything to add, let me know. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel as well to see more astrological content just like this. So thank you guys very much. Hope you have a blessed, wonderful day.